President Droupadi Murmu is on a state visit to Serbia. We're taking you live to Belgrade for the statements by the leaders.
Uvažena gospođo predsjednice, poštovana gospođo Murmu, kao predsjedniku Republike Srbije ogromna mi je čast što imam priliku i privilegiju da vas ugostim u Beogradu. Ovo je prva poseta indijskog predsjednika Republike Srbije posle 1972. godine, posle više od pola veka, i posebno sam srećan što mogu da vam budem
to be able to be your host these 2 days. I'm certain that at every
u našoj Srbiji mogli da vidite gostoprimstvo, najbliži mogući odnos koji građani Srbije gaje prema prijateljskom narodu Indije. To datira još iz vremena pokreta nesvrstanosti, još od pre 75 godina, tačno kada smo, 1948. godine, uspostavili diplomatske odnose između naših dveju zemalja. Mi smo ponosni na našu tradiciju.
We are proud of our traditional friendship, and I want, Madam President, to thank you for your support for the territorial integrity of the Republic of Serbia and respect and observance of international law, norms, United Nations Charter, and the Republic of Serbia will refer in the same manner towards the India, your country, and your people. And we believe that each institution worldwide, that each organization's the space for our mutual cooperation cannot be jeopardized. I would like to inform the journalists that we discussed today about overall cooperation between our two countries that started going into better direction, that is going on upwards direction, especially after my visit to India and discussion with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And I believe that today's visit of Madam President is going to be one of the cornerstones of our cooperation in the future. Our trade exchange is not sufficient. It is growing significantly, but still it is not sufficient, having in mind the potentials that we have between India and Serbia, about 330 million euros, but we believe that it can be 10 or 20 times bigger. We discussed cooperation in different fields of social life, and we have already established joint bodies and committees are to be established that are going to deal with hurdles and resolving problems, and to enable us as fast and as easy as possible cooperation in the future. In reference to that, private Indian airliners and our airliner will consider subsidies that both countries could provide for the interested companies for establishment of the direct flight between Delhi and Belgrade, which would mean more contacts between our business people, but much more tourists. Indian tourists are choosing where they want to go. They are exceptional tourists. Of course, it would be really important to attract as much as possible of them, but I'm certain there are many Serbian citizens that would like to see this beautiful country of India, to get to know with its history, culture, tradition, and its beauties of all kinds. Our tourism exchange must be helped by simplifying the visa regime. You know that we didn't have visa regime, but after some EU decisions, we had to change that. But today, we're considering, and I issued an order that in next 7 to 10 days, Minister of Foreign Affairs will be in charge of that, to fully simplify visa regime with India in order to attract as many Indian tourists as possible, Indian business people, ordinary people, in order to develop cooperation in different spheres of social life. Particularly, we discussed cooperation in the field of defense. India is one of the biggest both producers and buyers in the world market when it comes to the arms. Proportionally to its size, which is, of course, 200 times smaller the size of India, having in mind Serbia's population also, but in accordance with our own proportions, the Republic of Serbia is not small producer. Quite the contrary, it's a big producer and buyer of all kinds of military equipment. And I believe that together, especially when it comes to artillery, gunpowder, explosive means, we can have big cooperation in the future. We discussed other fields. We discussed cooperation in the field of pharmaceuticals and medicine, because already now, due to the lack of part of important medications, we have special support from India in the form of so-called generic medications, and we are yet to have them. The entire Europe will have them in order to have enough medications at much affordable price, and the quality is exceptional, extraordinary quality medications, and I believe that we can cooperate in that regard even additionally when it comes to joint ventures and production. So industrial cooperation was also the topic. We would like to attract a part of Indian investors. You know that Tata is cooperating with Stellantis, and we soon expect that Stellantis starts producing electric vehicle in Kragujevac. I had also discussions in India and some other capitals. I had discussions with Tata representatives, and I believe that we will be able to establish some kind of cooperation with them. We discussed improvement of cooperation in the field of cinematography between Serbia and India. Do not forget that we have already had investment from India and their producer companies. They brought here 50 million euros, and we supported that with our subsidies of even 12 million euros. We would support additional arrival of Indian companies' engagement of our capacities and even bigger visibility of the Republic of Serbia in the world cinematographic market. What's also very important for us is IT sector. India, so IT sector, artificial intelligence, India is one of the countries with the strongest growth of startups, the country that is going probably to have the biggest growth worldwide this year of more than 7% growth.
I naše iskustvo da razmenjujemo, ali i zajednički da radimo određene stvari. Mi ćemo uskoro da gradimo 5. naučno-tehnološki park u našoj zemlji u Kragujevcu i ponudit ćemo našim indijskim prijateljima i partnerima da zajednički sa nama na tom poslu nastave da rade. Što se poljoprivredno-prehrambene industrije tiče, imamo mnogo planova, mi već značajan deo naših jabuka izvozimo na indijsko tržište, ali to je tek početak, postoji veliko interesovanje za maline, za bobičasto voće i verujemo da tu dodatnu saradnju možemo da ostvarimo po pitanju semena, ali dakle smrznutog voća, jer Indija je ogroman proizvođač, ali uvek tu naravno postoje problemi, jer ne možete lako da uskladištite sve te proizvode. U svakom slučaju i te stvari rešavamo i verujemo da će i po tom pitanju da nam raste razmena. I to su tih 6 najvažnijih oblasti, ali važnije od svega je da nastavljamo da produbljujemo naše prijateljske odnose, našu političku saradnju koja mora da bude neka vrsta temelja za sve ove velike ekonomske poslove koje nas čekaju i naravno indijska ekonomija koja je postavljena na moderne osnove, koje dominira privatni sektor. Mi moramo da pristupimo veoma moćnom, veoma snažnom privatnom sektoru Indije, a što će nam pomoći takođe i u brojnim infrastrukturnim poslovima o kojima smo danas takođe govorili ovde i ulaganju u energetiku, posebno obnovljive energente, izvore energije, jer Indija je jedan od najvećih proizvođača obnovljive energije u svetu. Još jedan put želim predsednici Murmu Droupadi da se zahvalim na poseti, da kažem da smo mi počastvovani i privilegovani vašom posetom i da verujem da ćemo iz ovoga uspeti da napravimo još bolje rezultate u saradnji dva, rekao bih, istinski prijateljska i gotovo bratska naroda. Hvala vam najlepše i još jedan put dobrodošli u našu zemlju.
Hvala predsjedniče. Molim predsjednicu Republike Indije, Droupadi Murmu, da se obrati. Izvolite.
धन्यवाद। महामहिम राष्ट्रपति अलेक्जेंडर बुचिच जी, मीडिया के सभी सदस्यों, देवियों एवं स्वजनों, नमस्कार, गुड मॉर्निंग। मुझे सर्बिया की यात्रा करके खुशी हो रही है, जो किसी यूरोपीय देश की मेरी पहली राजकीय यात्रा है। मैं राष्ट्रपति अलेक्जेंडर वुचिच और सर्बिया के लोगों को मेरे और मेरे प्रतिनिधि मंडल के ओर से स्वागत और अतिथि के लिए धन्यवाद देती हूँ। इस अवसर पर हम 2017 में सर्बिया के तत्कालीन प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में राष्ट्रपति वुचिच को भारत यात्रा को याद करते हैं। उनकी उस यात्रा ने हमारी द्विपक्षीय साझेदारी के विस्तार की नींव रखी है। नॉन अलायंट मूवमेंट के दिनों से ही भारत और सर्बिया के बीच संबंध विशिष्ट रही है। हमारे रिश्ता आपसी विश्वास, आपसी समझ और मुख्य हित के मुद्दे पर एक दूसरे के समर्थन पर आधारित है। हम इस महत्वपूर्ण रिश्ते में और गति लाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। हमारे द्विपक्षीय संबंध के सभी महत्वपूर्ण पहलुओं और हमारे समान हितों के वैश्विक और क्षेत्रीय मुद्दे पर आज सुबह राष्ट्रपति वुचिच के साथ मेरे रचनात्मक और सार्थक बैठक हुई है। हमने अपने लंबे समय से चले आ रहे हैं द्विपक्षीय संबंधों, विशेष रूप से व्यापार और निवेश, विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी, सूचना और डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज और लोगों से लोगों के बीच संपर्क को और बढ़ावा देने का भी संकल्प लिया। हम यूनाइटेड नेशंस और अन्य बहुपक्षीय मंचों में अपने समन्वय और सहयोग को मजबूत करने में सहमत हुए हैं। इसके बाद मैं प्रधानमंत्री सुश्री आना ब्रनाचविच से मिलूंगी और साथ में भारत सर्बिया बिजनेस फोरम में भाग लूंगी। हमारे व्यापारिक संगठनों के बीच बेहतर संपर्क से मजबूत और पारंपरिक रूप से लाभकारी साझेदारी का मार्ग प्रशस्त होगा। राष्ट्रपति जी ने बहुत सारे मुद्दों पे भारत के साथ काम करना चाहते हैं, और ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र हो या कम्युनिकेशन हो या व्यापार हो या कृषि हो या टेक्नोलॉजी हो, आईटी क्षेत्र हो या हेल्थ के क्षेत्र हो, हर क्षेत्र में वो भारत के साथ काम करना चाहते हैं। हम भी हर सर्बिया भारत का पारंपरिक मित्र है, इसीलिए उनके साथ काम करने के लिए हम भी उत्सुक हैं। आगे जाके इसी क्षेत्र में या कम्युनिकेशन हो और यहाँ से अपना उड़ान भरना चाहते हैं दिल्ली डायरेक्ट, उसके लिए भी हम डिटेल में बातें करेंगे और साझेदारी करेंगे। आगे के संपर्क को हम लोगों को बढ़ाए। ये आना जाने से मुझे लगता है ये साझेदारी और भी बढ़ेगा, सुदृढ़ होगा। मैं एक बार फिर राष्ट्रपति वुचिच को उनके आतिथ्य के लिए धन्यवाद देती हूँ और सर्बिया के लोगों की प्रगति और समृद्धि के लिए अपनी हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Hvala. Hvala vam. Ovim je današnje obraćanje završeno. Pozivamo vas da nam se pridružite na poslovnom forumu. Hvala.
That was President Droupadi Murmu speaking in Belgrade. President Murmu is on a state visit to Serbia. She, along with Serbian leader Alexander Vučić, addressed the media. Both the leaders reaffirmed the close partnership between India and Serbia. They spoke about the improving business and people-to-people ties between the two countries. Also, issues like visa would also be in focus. And they spoke about close cooperation in both bilateral and multilateral forum between the two nations. With those updates, we conclude this bulletin. Namaskar.